The diagram shows 4 graphs. Each of the equations in the table is the equation of one of the graphs. So we have to think about what each of these graphs are, and it's worth just knowing these graphs. Now, if we didn't know them, we are given the names of all 4. So we've got a couple of them are x cubed graphs, but one of them is negative. One of them is an x squared graph, and one of them is 1 over x. Okay, we should know what those graphs look like. This question is not intended for you to sit here working out what the graph looks like. You are supposed to know. The one we probably are most familiar with is this one, isn't it? When you've got a parabola like that, that is an x squared graph. So we could just label that D. There's no other parabolas, so we don't need to worry about it being the right one. Now, we know that x cubed graphs, well, a graph with an x cubed in it can look like that or like that. But if it's actually x equals x cubed, it will look like that, right? And we can see there are 2 graphs that have that shape. Yeah. Now, one of them is the positive x cubed, and the other one is the negative x cubed, right? So again, we should know which one is which. This is the positive one. If we're not sure, we can check, can't we? Let's take a value. If x equals 1, 1 cubed is 1. So we should have a point up here. Yeah. So it can't be this graph. If x is 1, y is minus 1 on this one. So B is the negative one, and C is the positive one. Now, by process of elimination, we can see that A is 1 over x. But, you know, we shouldn't have to rely on process of elimination. We should know that the graph looks like this. Now, 1 over x is an interesting graph. As x gets really, really, really big, you know, imagine if we took a value of x to be a million. I don't know why I chose a million, but 1 over a million is 0.00001. It's tiny. So as x gets really, really big, this curve gets really, 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 really small, but it never equals 0. You can't have 1 over a number equaling 0. It doesn't work. So that graph gets closer to 0 infinitely. You know, we could put in x as 10,000 billion and it will still be slightly above the x-axis. It never reaches the x-axis. So that's called an asymptote. A similar thing happens at the other end. As x gets really, really, really small, you know, 1 over 0.1 is 10, 1 over 0.01 is 100, 1 over 0.0000001 is like 10 million or whatever. So as x gets smaller and smaller and smaller, this graph gets bigger and bigger and bigger, but again, never touches the y-axis because we cannot put 0 into this equation. 1 over 0 breaks maths. And a similar thing happens with the negative x values. We get the same shape, but you know, it's negative.